Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism or to our congregation, we want to get to know you and share a part of your journey. If this place is already your spiritual home, welcome once more. We need one another, and it is good to be together again. Through the gifts of technology, we also gather virtually to celebrate community and connections as we lean into the values of justice, compassion, and reason. Welcome to all those who are joining us in this way today. Together, we learn the love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service this morning. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love.
Arise, O souls,
Good morning. Excuse me, a little froggy this morning. What a beautiful day to be here. I'm Jean Patterson, a member of All Souls, and I'm privileged to welcome you this morning. I echo the opening statement in the video for both those who are here and those who are watching at home. When we say welcome here at All Souls, we welcome you. You with all the identities you hold and your fullness as a person are welcome here. We hope that you will bring your whole self to this time together. We welcome those who have long been a part of our community and those who are here for the first time. Please extend this welcome through conversations with new faces after the service, and it may be the beginning of a long and warm relationship. Our candle of memory is lit this morning for Mary Ellen Young. She passed away on February 6th. She and her husband Gene were active in All Souls in the 1990s. There will be a memorial service for Mary Ellen on Saturday, March 4th at 3 p.m. here in Bragg and streamed online. Our thoughts are with Gene at this time.
Good morning. Today begins a special time of year here at All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. It's a time when we ask ourselves, when we ask you, what being a part of All Souls means. Of course, it's also an awkward time because as we consider what this church means to us, we must also ask how we can reflect that meaning monetarily. Yes, this morning begins the annual pledge drive. What we are asking you to do before March 26th is to make a pledge to donate a specific amount of money to the church between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024. By doing this, you are saying, yes, I believe in All Souls, and I will give All Souls this much money over one church year. You can give it in one lump sum. Every week, every month is a very popular choice. Every quarter, or any other pay schedule that makes sense for you. But it's a financial commitment to the church. And the church relies on those commitments so that we know how much income to expect next year when we create the budget. Many of you have set up recurring payments as your pledges, and for this we thank you. We appreciate your continuing support. And this year, the stewardship team would like to explicitly receive a pledge from every member household. If we think of pledging as a commitment to the church, submitting a pledge, even if it's the same amount that you've already been giving, is an explicit act of affirming your commitment. It says that you promise to give that amount because you care about all souls. We can rely on your pledge as we make financial plans for next year. It's important, which is why we set aside time each year to do this. We need to know how much money we have to commit to the staff and programs of the church as we continue our mission for another year. Our goal for this year's pledge drive is $350,000 in pledges. This is 5% higher than the pledges that the church received last year. The stewardship team set this goal as a little bit of a stretch, but one that we know we can achieve. It will make it possible to set a budget that does not include a deficit. The theme for the pledge drive is gratitude, and that is the basis of this service as well. So let us begin with the words of Jane E. Maudlin. For our community gathered here, for the Spirit that called us together and drew us to this place, we give thanks this day. For moments we have shared with others, for times when we have reached out across barriers of distance and fear, for times when others have reached out to us, for moments when we have discovered another along our path, we give thanks this day. For this community of celebration and growth, introspection and solitude, and for those moments of that peace which passes all understanding, we give thanks this day. For our gathering together out of distant places, for our weaving together out of many separate selves, this hour of celebration and worship, we give thanks this day. Zach?
Hi, my name's Zach. I light this candle for acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations.
Now stand as you are able and join me in the affirmation of our covenant, then remain standing for our song. Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks for this precious day. For all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Thanks for this precious day. For all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share
Our commitment to human fellowship means that we are called upon to be glad with those who rejoice and to weep with those who mourn. Thus, we set aside this time in our gathering to share with one another the joys and concerns which are shaping our lives. May the beauty and sweetness of these brief flowers remind us to hold one another in the bonds of sympathy, encouragement, and care. And I invite you to come forward to share a joy or a concern. And we currently have the cameras on that we are streaming online. So if you would prefer to speak your joy or concern not live on the internet, we will have a moment at the end that will turn off the cameras and the microphones so that you can have that opportunity.
So this morning before I went to church, I was watching the CBS Sunday morning program. And one thing they brought to light was the fact that it's been a year since we got involved in worldwide in another war. It seems like we do not learn from history at all. There is a new movie version of All Is Quiet on the Western Front, which brings to light the violence, the death, and the destruction of war in general. I can't describe for you how disgusted I am that after a year, this is continuing, and there's no sign that it's going to end anytime soon. So I'm hopeful that heads intelligence, human intelligence will prevail at some point soon, and this can be brought to an immediate halt.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Great. Well, I want to share a joy with you all. I am overwhelmed with joy that the amount of volunteer efforts that have gone into the hunger outreach program here. We have supported an average of around 80 to 100 people at almost every one of our hunger outreach sessions that we've done in the park. And we do this 3 times a week. So we're touching a lot of lives, and I want that support to continue. Thank you.
Good morning. Joy and concern. You may have heard about poetry, prose, and piano program this evening, which, of course, I hope more of you will come to. But the joy in that is that we're able to have this kind of programming in our church, that we have the talent within our membership to provide the kind of programming you might expect of that. So that is the joy, and being able to share that with you and to have it here. Thank you.
I am thankful for my baby sister and my dog Ozzy, who can be a bit much sometimes, but I love him anyway. And my concern is the war against Ukraine and Russia. I think that it's improving, but I think that Ukraine is gonna win.
Come to you this morning with a concern. Just a few minutes ago, I learned of yet another fentanyl death that's touched a family. You're actually a family here in the congregation, and the young man who passed away was 24.
Hi. I have several joys and a concern. My concern is that I'm still unemployed. I do have some decent prospects, and so that's a joy. Also, I have more time to spend with my coming-of-age mentee. I've had more time to work on my house, to spend with my boyfriend Michael, and I've got a small part-time gig with a group called Friends of Community Media that some of you are probably familiar with.
Hi, I'm Ann Marchin. I don't know if any of you knew my daughter Madeline, who was a member here several years ago, 4 or 5 years, Madeline Gogol. She had successful appendix surgery on Monday and is doing fine.
On Valentine's Day, our daughter had a baby girl. So Isabella Valentina Lupo is in the world.
Listening to Sunday morning programming, I learned this morning that our former president, Jimmy Carter, is entering hospice. He probably has very few days to live. And he's a great president. We really appreciate it.
I grabbed two. I have two concerns. I got a message this week that one of my cousins was diagnosed on Monday with advanced pancreatic cancer and passed away on Friday. And at the same time, on the same side of the family, her cousin, my aunt, fell last weekend. She has osteoporosis, and so she broke a hip, and she is in long-term rehabilitation. So at least rehab, but, so, thank you.
I have a concern for my sister-in-law, not Cheryl. Bob's other sister. You know, we don't talk about this very much in church, but it touches a lot of families. She can't seem to stay out of jail.
Good morning. I'm Mark Gibbons. I've been a member here for about 11 years. And I have a couple of joys this morning. The first of which involves the success of a local sports team. And the excellent character of many of its leaders, which makes me happy to root for them. But also, last week, many teams had pitchers and catchers report to spring training, and this week, the rest will. And so, seasons go on, and much of life, looks normal. And, that feels good now.
Hi, I'm Sue Trowbridge, President of the Board, and I am thankful for the visitors here today. Would you stand, please? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome.
I'm Barbara Griggs, and I just want to share a personal joy that last week Peter and I moved to a home about 10 minutes away so that we will be here more and able to participate more. And some of you know my family, and we're 2 minutes away from them. So this is really good for us. So
So I will ask our tech team, our beloved, wonderful tech team, to turn off the cameras and for all of the outreachings of the Spirit that abide unspoken in our hearts. And if you would please join in reading the congregational response with me by Claudia Ramich. We give thanks for the needs of our community that remind us of our common humanity. We give thanks for the needs of humanity that grow into the compassion of the Buddha, the love of Jesus, and the charity of Muhammad. We give thanks for the needs of our hearts that foster our commitment to share our lives and goods. We give thanks for the gifts given today, our concern, our companionship, our material goods, that will serve a good greater than any we can accomplish on our own. May this offering be a blessing to friends and strangers, neighbors all. Thank you. Let us sing our children to their classes.
Good morning. I'm Jane Gilbreth, one of the older, longtime members of All Souls. Currently, I'm also the assistant treasurer. When I make my pledge here, I consider my income, what my other expenses will be, the other organizations I want to support, determine how I can best support All Souls for the next year. It's a very left-brain thing. Like many of you, this money comes out of my account each month without me even thinking about it. But I'm not going to talk to you about pledging this morning. There are others that will do that, because when I'm here, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I'm grateful for the greeters that meet me with a smile and a friendly hello, for the forum presenters, the people that make the coffee and help at the membership table. I'm grateful to those of you that prepare food week after week, for those who might otherwise go hungry. I'm grateful for you who give your time each week to tutor at Carver School, helping children that need a little extra attention. And for those of you who knit and crochet warm gifts for those who need them. I'm so proud to be a part of this community. I'm grateful to those of you who serve on committees and teams that keep our building functioning, the facility folks, the finance committee, the Caring Connection, the Board of Trustees, and so many others. On Sunday morning, it's a joy to sit back and feel the love around me, to soak up the peace and the music, to be energized and inspired by readings or a sermon. And then I remember 80 years ago when my mom sent me off to Sunday school with my hair tightly braided and my shoes polished. She made sure I had a nickel for the collection plate. This morning, when the plate is passed, I have the opportunity to make a donation, a gift, not a payment, not based on facts and figures, but based on the gratefulness I feel just being a part of this community. I want to put my nickel in the collection plate. I invite you to do the same. The offering will now be gratefully received.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel your hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see. When together we stand, your hand will comfort me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes makes me so much happier than keeping score in a world that can bring pain. I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance. Whatever stone life may sling, we can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
Please join in the dedication of the offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society. Thank you.
By Reverend Gary Kowalski. We thank you, God, for potlucks. Okay. Let's start again. Where a multitude can cook with ingredients and spices that aren't just from one book, from casseroles and dumplings, hors d'oeuvres and canapes, puddings, sauces, pastas, to sensational flambés. How boring when there's just one dish or flavor to fit all. How yummy and much more delish when our feasts a free-for-all. Our faith is like a banquet too, with many forms of seasoning, where Christians, Rastafarians, and Jews all do their separate reasoning. But all can share one table, break bread and sit to eat, enriched by our diversity, from pumpernickel to whole wheat. So we are our own blessing. Our gratitude's made real when we as friends can need and feel each other in life's meal.
This be a house of peace, of nature and humanity, of sorrow and elation. Let this be our house, a haven for the healing, an open room for question and our inspiration. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be our house of peace. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of freedom. Guardian of dignity and worth held deep inside us. Let this be our house, a platform for the free voice, where all our sacred differences here shall not divide us. Let this be a house of peace. 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 Let all in this house seek truth, where scientists and mystics abide in reverence here. Let this be our house, a house of our creation, where works of art and melodies consecrate the atmosphere. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be our house of peace. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of prophecy. May vision for our children be our common theme. Let this be our house of myth and lore and legend, our trove of ancient story and cradle of our tender dreams. Let this be a house of peace. 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 Let this be our house of peace.
In Gatherings by Marta I. Valentin, a self-described Latina UU minister, lesbian, feminist, poet, and a pretty good salsa dancer. In Gatherings, we are stirred like the leaves of the fall season, rustling around sacred trees, tossed hither and yon, until we come to rest together, quietly, softly. We come to gather strength from each other. We come to give strength to each other. We come to ask for strength from the spirit of all that is and is not. When our hearts sing or when they frown, it is the way of compassion telling us to give. It is the way of peace telling us to share our gifts, for we are happiest and most powerful when love is made apparent in and through us. Spirit of the circle that is love, as we twirl in this dance that is life, we give thanks for reminding us each day of our task of ministering to each other with a searching glance, a safe touch, a generous smile, a thoughtful word. Thank you for reminding us that we are always building our beloved comunidad. Thank you for reminding us that through our covenant with you, we covenant with each other and are made whole. In gratitude, we celebrate with open hearts and minds. We discover who we are, we separate from each other and within each other. In this circle that holds all life, may we ever work toward widening its boundaries until there are none. Amen. Us. Blessed be.
My dearly beloved community, I'm thrilled to be here today answering the question, what does All Souls mean to me? What things of value have I gained here and uniquely here? I will say it starts with an L. I don't know which way. Oh, well, anyway. Here at All Souls, I cherish learning, listening, and love. Learning in a real sense creates change. A change of mind, a change of heart, a change in the world. Teaching in Sunday school, I learned how children raised freely without dogma explored meaning in their lives. I learned from a small group member how a spreadsheet can be a thing of beauty. I have learned to recognize white supremacist culture hidden in plain sight, but to which I was blind. I learned to question my assumptions early and often. I learned to tape drywall working on Habitat for Humanity. The list goes on. Listening requires, on the deepest level, to let go of your own agenda, your preconceptions, and my urge for argument. I have experienced listening and being listened to here with an acceptance and compassion found in few places. I have been listened through my ignorance, my cantankerousness, if that's a word, and I've been listened into peaceful silence. As a person for whom music just livens my often neglected right brain into being, speaks without words, heals without knowing you're hurt. The music here finds and fills the cracks in my heart and helps me to let go of fear. When such beauty exists, the world is a welcoming place. And the greatest of these is love. The kind of love that calls me into service, into compassion, and into community. I've picked up trash on Main Street. I've marched, shouted, and made signs promoting abortion rights, immigration reform, environmental consciousness, Black Lives Matter, along with many of you here. I've seen fellow congregants arrested outside of nuclear armament plants. I've made soup, sandwiches, salads, and casseroles to help feed our hungry neighbors. I've helped in COVID vaccination clinics at Carver School. And that list goes on too, but my puny efforts alone pale at the impact of this larger group, the whole of us. So, I give now, and I give in my will, and I believe in all my heart that I am given so much more than I could ever give back. Join me in keeping this community strong. We need each other, and we need the inspiration only others can give. Thank you.
This Sunday, we begin our annual pledge drive, and the theme we have chosen is gratitude. What motivates us to do this is for our gratitude to All Souls, the church that we love. I am grateful for this church because it is Unitarian Universalist. I grew up as a Southern Baptist. I have been an All Souls member for about 18 years, maybe a UU for twice that long. Even while attending Baptist colleges and a Baptist seminary, I had real questions and was not able to get the answers that I needed for my faith. As UUs, we believe in freedom to work out our own beliefs without having to subscribe to a creed. We believe that our faith should be based on scholarship and rational thinking, as well as our own inner light. I was grateful to begin learning about the humanist life stance here at All Souls, and I'm grateful for our senior minister, Kendall Gibbons, who is a leading humanist leader and preacher. I'm grateful for this church for its acceptance of all people, regardless of race, sexual orientation, or any other physical definition. What counts is our character and how we act in relationship to each other and the world around us. My first time at All Souls, in this All Souls church building, was in 1976 when I was a member of the local MCC gay church, and All Souls let us meet in Conover until we found a building. I'm grateful to Carolyn McDonald and all those at this church who push for LGBTQ rights and understanding. My husband Keith and I have been together for 44 years, but were only able to get married 8 years ago, and we did it in a UU church in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm grateful for this church, mostly for the people and community that we find here. I remember so many Sunday plus dinners and dinners for 8 through the years. I remember the covenant groups and many discussion groups, the auction and auction dinners, and Yule Box. All of this, plus the groups that put their heart and soul into service to the larger community, such as the Hunger Outreach team. All of this makes All Souls a wonderful community of which to be a part. I'm grateful for this church because of our ability at All Souls to adapt to these uncertain and stressful times. There was a pandemic of the last few years where we could not even get together physically, not even for Sunday services. Recently, Kendall's stroke has brought new challenges as we have had to reorganize staff, and learn to do things in a new way. I am grateful for Erin, our new second minister, and how she has unbelievably been able to step in so quickly and so well. I'm grateful for Anthony, who continues with great music and choir, but also with planning services and the technical aspects of it all. And Melanie in our wonderful youth program. As a new member of the board, I have recently learned how hard all the board members and leaders work, the decisions they make to keep All Souls running smoothly. I pledge and give in support of All Souls because I am so grateful for the vital community we have here. It is really my second home in Kansas City.
Good morning. I'm Carol Coles, a member of this congregation, and I would like to tell you why I support this church and how I am supported by this church. My husband, Jim Fletcher, and I moved to Kansas City in February of 2015. We had retired in 2013 in the Chicago area after teaching and administering in colleges and universities throughout our adult years. In preparation for this next stage of life, we created a 34-cell matrix of things we valued as a tool to help us choose a city in which to settle. It was very idiosyncratic. We love theater, Four Seasons, travel, diverse neighborhoods, hanging sheets outside to dry, music, and Unitarians. So these made it to the cells. We spent a couple of years actually tossing cities back and forth, visiting those we would consider, and eventually settled here. We joined All Souls 2 weeks after we moved here and have increased our involvement and our pledge every year. Contributing to this church community enabled us to contribute to the larger community. I've been involved in the tutoring and mentoring at Carver Dual Language School since 2015. Peg Maher approached me and said, "Let me tell you about the Carver Amigos. I think you'd make a great tutor. You do like children, don't you?" Since Fletcher and I have 6 now adult children between us and 11 grandchildren, we had better. Soon I was tutoring reading and math 2 days a week and adding some yoga classes for students needing a bit of structure to self-soothe and calm. I'm now coordinating volunteers for Carver and doing yoga classes for each grade and an after-school faculty staff gentle yoga class once a week. Today, immediately following the service, we're having a fundraising luncheon to contribute to the principal's discretionary fund, and we've made enough tamale pie, salad, and flan to invite you for a $10 donation, even if you forgot to make a reservation. And that brings me to cooking and providing nourishing and delicious meals for our houseless and food insecure friends at Washington Park. All Souls leadership and support of KC Heroes, Free Hot Soup, and other established volunteer efforts to address hunger, homelessness, and hopelessness in our community makes Fletcher and me know that our efforts are supported and amplified by others from this congregation. We've seen the value of generously sharing our kitchen and Conover space to cook and package up to 800 meals a week during peak times. Our pledges and funds raised provide supplies that are not donated or we are not able to gather. This commitment of our Thursday night sandwich makers week after week after week is awe-inspiring. Whether gathering signatures to get Medicaid expansion in Missouri on the ballot or working with More Squared, All Souls members and friends organize and act to create a more just and caring home for all. And finally, Fletcher and I look forward to sitting quietly here on Sunday mornings with friends, listening to beautiful music and pondering thoughtful sermons. These hours provide balance to an active, life-affirming retirement stage of life. Our appreciation and support for these opportunities will continue through our pledge and participation.
Let me let you in on a little secret. When Unitarian Universalist minister Gary Kowalski wrote, "We thank you, God, for potlucks," he wasn't talking about potlucks. He wasn't talking about casseroles and dumplings, pumpernickel or whole wheat breads. He was actually talking about us, a community of people who are not all the same, that makes room for difference while remaining a whole. A people of generosity who bring together their different offerings to make community possible. And Reverend Kowalski reminds us, we are our own blessing. Our gratitude's made real when we as friends can feed and serve each other in life's meal. Our gratitude. Our gratitude for this, our special church community. Of course, we are grateful to have found this church home. Grateful for the friendships, grateful for the music, grateful for this time each week to simply stop and be together, focused on making meaning of our hectic lives and places in the world. We share in the gratitude expressed by Beth, Morris, and Carol this morning. Part of gratitude is simply recognizing that it's present, that it's not always the easiest thing to recognize in the frantic day-to-day and the demands of our lives. So I invite you now to take a moment to recognize your gratitude for this church. Review in your mind the people here and the impacts they have made for you personally. Consider the presence of children, the children you see here each week, your own children, the children you raised here or wish you had been able to raise here. Reflect on how this place and these people and the religious education offerings shape our children. Remember the experiences of worship that you have had in this room and the ways in which the music has worked with the words and the message to change something inside of you. Think about the experience of being involved in this place, of volunteering, of being a part of this place being what it is. What else about this congregation feels special to you? Consider that as well. Let all of these memories and moments collect in your heart until you feel your inner truth of what All Souls means for you. Now hold all of that in the gentle embrace of gratitude. Let the gratitude fill you, and then release it in your breath. All of that is why we're asking you to pledge this morning or over the next few weeks. Because this congregation means so much to you and has given you so much. Because you feel deep gratitude. Please be generous. You are aware that the last few years the church has been running a deficit budget. That is, that we've been spending more money than we've been bringing in. Times are hard for congregations right now, and it's amazing, truly amazing, how well all of you responded to the challenge grant to pay down that deficit. As we want to continue to serve you as well as we do, and we want to maintain staffing at current levels, and we want to fully fund music and religious education, the reality is we need more pledge income to make it all happen. Otherwise, a balanced budget will reflect cuts that no one here wants to make. Now, funding the budget through pledges isn't flashy. It isn't a challenge grant. It isn't raising money for a specific thing like a dishwasher or to send 10 young people to learn about their faith in Boston. It is the most important fundraising that the church does each year, though. It is the fundraising that keeps the lights on, that pays the staff, that makes sure that there is a service every Sunday morning. So this is the ask, for you to express your deep gratitude for all that you receive from this place, for the relationships that you have built here, for having a place that is your spiritual home. May your gratitude spill forth into generosity, supporting this, our beloved community. Please stand as you are willing and able, and join in singing our hymn, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep inside you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
We release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I have more words, I just need them on the screen. All right. Our closing words are by Sidney Wilde. In this community, we give and we receive. May we go forth now to share the bounty of our love. Amen.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its